If you've ever Googled, how does ADHD show up in women? There's a good chance something in your life hasn't quite made sense. Maybe you look like you're doing fine, but everything feels harder than it should. Maybe you're exhaustion from holding it all together. Or maybe you're wondering, is this ADHD? Or is it just me? This video isn't about diagnosing you. You actually need an assessment for that. But it's about helping you understand what's actually going on and maybe offering you a little more compassion than you've been given before. Many women with ADHD don't get missed because their symptoms are mild. They get missed because they learn to cope well enough. ADHD research and diagnostic criteria were largely built around boys. Hyperactivity, disruption, trouble sitting still. But many girls learned early that those behaviors weren't acceptable, especially not for them. So instead of acting out, they internalized. Instead of being loud, they became compliant. Instead of struggling visibly, they overfunctioned. ADHD in women often shows up as effort, not chaos. I see this constantly in my work. Women who are responsible, capable, emotionally intelligent, and completely exhausted. They've been managing ADHD with pressure, perfectionism, and people-pleasing for years, sometimes decades. And understanding how ADHD shows up internally is key. So let's talk about what ADHD in women actually looks like day to day. Many women with ADHD don't struggle because they can't do things. They struggle because of what it costs them to do those things. ADHD in women often shows up as time blindness or following nonlinear time, difficulty starting tasks, even meaningful ones, things they want to do that are important, emotional intensity or emotional sensitivity, rejection sensitivity or RSD, chronic overwhelm, overthinking and self-doubt, with the self-doubt often being only evident by what goes on outside, and often doing well while feeling constantly behind or depleted. A woman might meet every deadline, but only by pulling late nights. She keeps her life together, but feels fried by the end of the day. She appears organized, but lives in a constant state of mental effort. This isn't a motivation problem. It's a nervous system working overtime to manage ADHD. Nothing about this means you're failing. It means you've been compensating, often impressively. But here's where things get confusing, because what women experience doesn't always show up clearly in diagnostic language. Many ADHD women read the criteria and think, well, some of that fits, but not all of it. The DSM, the Diagnostic Manual, focuses on observable behaviors like inattention, forgetfulness, disorganization, difficulty sustaining focus, starting and completing tasks. What it often misses in women are internal experiences, the mental effort it takes to stay organized, the emotional labor of masking, the anxiety created by years of trying harder, the burnout that comes from over-functioning. So two people can meet the same responsibilities, but one is calm and regulated, and the other is running on adrenaline and self-criticism. The behavior looks the same. The internal cost is completely different. So if you've ever thought, but I can do things, so it can't be ADHD, this distinction really matters. Which brings us to one of the biggest myths I want to gently dismantle. One of the most damaging misconceptions is this: if you're successful, you can't have ADHD. Many high-achieving women absolutely have ADHD. They've just learned to manage it through pressure, urgency, and over-control. Achievement doesn't cancel out ADHD. It often hides it. When I was assessed for ADHD in my early 30s, I was told I had done too well to meet criteria for the diagnosis. What wasn't seen was how much time and energy it took just to function at that level, hours each day just to get myself to focus and follow through, leaving very little space for rest, ease, or joy. If you've been told the same thing, I want you to hear this clearly. Your success does not invalidate your struggle. And for many women who've been using things like people-pleasing, over-functioning, and perfectionism, there comes a moment when those strategies stop working altogether. Many women don't start questioning ADHD until something breaks. Burnout, hormonal shifts, increased responsibilities, a nervous system that can't keep running on pressure anymore. So what used to work suddenly doesn't. Women often say, I used to be able to handle everything. What happened to me? What happened wasn't failure. It was depletion. And this moment can feel scary, but it can also be clarifying. So if you're watching this and wondering what to do with this awareness, let's talk about that next. You don't have to decide anything today. And some women pursue diagnosis. Some don't. Both are valid. What matters most is understanding your experience. You might reflect on questions like, what drains me the most? Where am I relying on pressure to function? What feels unsustainable? What symptoms of ADHD that Jen listed actually do resonate? That awareness alone can change how you relate to yourself. Clarity doesn't require certainty. You're just building awareness. And there are gentle, practical ways to start supporting yourself differently now that you're starting to see that perhaps ADHD has been what's been going on for you all along. Support doesn't have to start with labels. You might journal about what resonated, explore a screening tool for ADHD, or try ADHD-friendly tools that reduce friction instead of increasing effort. I created a free resource called the ADHD 5-Step Taskmaster Plan to help women get unstuck without relying on shame or willpower. It's designed as scaffolding, not pressure. You're allowed to need support. And before we close, there's one thing I want you to hear most clearly. You are not failing. You are not falling apart. And you are not too much or not enough. Most people truly are doing the best they can with the tools they have. And I believe you are too. If something feels hard, it doesn't mean you're incapable or don't want to. It often means you just need different support. Needing scaffolding doesn't limit what you can do. It makes what you're capable of sustainable. Be gentle with yourself. And if this video helped you feel a little more seen, you're probably not alone. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like this video and hit subscribe so that not only you won't miss a beat, but other ADHD women like you will benefit as well. Take good care.